The Unwanted Gift Captain. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Luna Station, watching another massive alien cargo vessel approach Earth's orbit. Her weathered hands gripped the metal railing as she counted the approaching ships. 7 vessels this month alone, each one carrying what the Galactic Trade Consortium called obsolete materials for humanity's benefit. The irony wasn't lost on her. The most advanced civilizations in the galaxy were treating Earth like their personal dumping ground, and they expected humans to be grateful for it. Captain, they're beginning the drop sequence, called Lieutenant Marcus Webb from the communications station. His young face showed the same frustration that had been building among Earth's military personnel for months. Same coordinates as always. Sarah nodded grimly. Since first contact 18 months ago, the Galactic Trade Consortium had made their position clear. Humanity was a primitive species, barely worthy of notice, but they were generous enough to share their outdated technology. Of course, what they shared was always broken, incomplete, or deemed too dangerous for their own use. The cargo bay doors of the lead vessel opened with mechanical precision. Streams of twisted metal, broken machinery, and unidentifiable components tumbled toward Earth's atmosphere. Most would burn up during entry, but the pieces that survived would be collected by human salvage teams and studied by Earth scientists. "Get me Dr. Elena Vasquez," Sarah ordered. "She needs to see this." Within minutes, Dr. Vasquez arrived at the observation deck. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and her lab coat bore the stains of countless hours spent analyzing alien technology. As Earth's leading xenotechnology specialist, she had spent more time with the consortium's gifts than anyone else. "Another delivery?" Elena asked, joining Sarah at the viewport. Her voice carried a mixture of excitement and frustration. Despite the insulting nature of these dumps, each load brought new possibilities for understanding alien science. "The biggest one yet?" Sarah replied. "Their generosity knows no bounds." Elena pulled out her tablet and began recording the drop pattern. Her trained eye could already identify several interesting pieces among the debris. "Look at that power coupling," she said, pointing to a cylindrical object that gleamed despite its apparent damage. "The energy patterns are unlike anything in their previous dumps." The communication system crackled to life with the familiar, condescending voice of Consortium Coordinator Vex. "Primitive Earth vessels, we have completed today's technology distribution. Please ensure your collection teams follow proper safety protocols. We would not want your species to injure itself with equipment beyond your understanding." Sarah's jaw tightened as she keyed the response channel. "Acknowledged, Coordinator Vex. Earth salvage teams will proceed with standard caution." "Excellent. The Consortium Council has reviewed your latest request for defensive shield technology. Unfortunately, your species' current development level makes such advanced system inappropriate. Perhaps in another few centuries when you have proven your technological maturity." The communication ended with a dismissive click. Sarah and Elena exchanged glances that spoke volumes about their shared frustration with the Consortium's attitude. "Centuries," Elena muttered. "They've been saying that about every piece of useful technology we've requested. Food processors, medical scanners, basic defensive systems. Everything is too advanced for us poor, primitive humans. But they're happy to dump their broken junk on us," Sarah added bitterly. "Come on, let's go see what treasures they've left us this time." The salvage operation took 6 hours. Earth's collection ships worked efficiently, gathering every piece of debris before it could drift too far from the designated collection zone. The larger pieces were transported directly to the Xenotechnology Research Facility, while smaller components went to various laboratories around the globe. Sarah and Elena arrived at the main research facility as the first cargo containers were being unloaded. The hangar buzzed with activity as scientists and engineers sorted through the latest haul. Despite their frustration with the consortium's attitude, the research teams couldn't hide their excitement at examining new alien technology. "Dr. Vasquez," called Dr. James Park, the facility's chief systems analyst. He hurried over carrying a partially melted device that still sparked occasionally. "You need to see this. It's some kind of energy modulator, but the design principles are completely different from anything we've seen before." Elena took the device carefully, her eyes immediately drawn to the unusual crystalline structures embedded in its housing. "This isn't just different," she said slowly. "This is revolutionary. Look at these crystal matrices. They're designed to channel energy in ways that our physics textbooks say should be impossible." "Impossible according to our understanding," Sarah corrected, "but clearly not impossible according to theirs. The question is, why did they throw it away?" Dr. Park consulted his preliminary analysis report. "The damage appears to be intentional, like they deliberately disabled it before disposal. Same with about 30% of today's haul. These aren't systems that failed naturally. They were purposely destroyed." This revelation sent a chill through the research team. If the consortium was deliberately sabotaging technology before giving it to humanity, it suggested they were more concerned about human advancement than they let on. Elena set the energy modulator on an examination table and began connecting diagnostic equipment. "There's something else," she said as data began flowing across her screens. "These energy readings don't match any of the power signatures we've recorded from consortium ships. This technology appears to be more advanced than what they're currently using." The implications hit everyone simultaneously. The consortium wasn't just dumping outdated technology on Earth. They were disposing of systems that might be too dangerous or too advanced even for their own use. Over the following weeks, Elena's team worked tirelessly to understand the true nature of their latest acquisitions. What they discovered changed everything. The broken components weren't actually broken at all. They had been deliberately modified to appear non-functional while retaining their core capabilities. The energy modulator, when properly understood, could amplify power output by factors that shouldn't have been possible. The damaged propulsion systems contained design principles that could revolutionize space travel. Even the seemingly worthless scrap metal incorporated alloys that were stronger and lighter than anything in Earth's material science databases. "They're not giving us their garbage," Elena announced during an emergency briefing with Earth's military leadership. "They're giving us their most dangerous innovations, technology so powerful that they're afraid to use them themselves." Admiral Robert Harrison, Earth's highest-ranking military officer, leaned forward in his chair. "Explain." Elena activated a holographic display showing the internal structure of the energy modulator. This single device could power a city for years without fuel. But look at these fail-safes. She highlighted several components in red. The system is designed to shut down if pushed beyond certain parameters. The consortium built these limitations into their technology because they're afraid of what would happen if someone found a way around them. "And have we?" Admiral Harrison asked. Elena smiled for the first time in weeks. "We have. Human engineering approaches problems differently than the consortium species. Where they see limitations, we see challenges to overcome. We've identified 17 different ways to bypass their fail-safes, and we're just getting started." Captain Sarah Chen, who had been quietly listening to the discussion, finally spoke up. "What are you suggesting, Doctor?" "I'm suggesting that the Galactic Trade Consortium has made the biggest mistake in their history. They've given us everything we need to build something they never imagined. While they've been treating us like primitive children, we've been learning from their most advanced technology." Elena brought up another display, this one showing preliminary designs for a spacecraft unlike anything Earth had ever attempted. "This is what we could build with what they've given us. Not a copy of their ships, but something entirely new. Something that combines their advanced technology with human innovation." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The consortium's arrogance had blinded them to humanity's greatest strength, the ability to see possibilities where others saw only problems. Admiral Harrison was the first to speak. "How long would such a project take?" "With proper resources and security," Elena replied. 18 months for a full-scale prototype. "But Admiral, this would have to be completely secret. If the consortium discovers what we're doing before we're ready..." "They won't," Sarah interjected firmly. "They're too convinced of their superiority to imagine we could threaten them. Their arrogance is our greatest asset." The meeting ended with the authorization of humanity's most ambitious project. Deep beneath the mountains of Colorado, construction began on a facility that would house the development of Earth's first truly advanced starship. The project was given the codename Phoenix, a symbol of rising from ashes to become something greater. As the months passed, the consortium continued their regular dumps of obsolete technology, never suspecting that each delivery was bringing humanity closer to a revelation that would shake the foundations of galactic power. They saw primitive humans grateful for scraps, never imagining that those scraps were being transformed into humanity's ticket to the stars. The Phoenix Project had begun, and with it, humanity's journey from scavengers to the galaxy's most feared power. The consortium's unwanted gifts would soon become their greatest nightmare. From trash to treasure, the Phoenix Research Facility hummed with constant activity 300 feet beneath the Colorado Rockies. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood before a massive, holographic display showing the skeletal framework of humanity's most ambitious project. Around her, teams of engineers and scientists worked at stations filled with salvaged alien technology, each piece carefully studied and reimagined for human purposes. "Status report," Elena called out as Captain Sarah Chen entered the main laboratory. 6 months had passed since the project's inception, and the progress had exceeded everyone's expectations. "The propulsion system is ready for testing," reported Dr. James Park, gesturing toward a gleaming assembly that bore little resemblance to its original alien components. "We've managed to increase efficiency by 40% over consortium specifications by removing their safety limitations and adding our own redundancy systems." Sarah examined the hybrid drive system with amazement. Where the original alien technology had been elegant but rigid, the human modifications were robust and adaptable. Multiple backup systems ensured that if one component failed, others could compensate. It wasn't as aesthetically pleasing as consortium engineering, but it was undeniably more reliable. "The beauty of human engineering," Elena explained, noticing Sarah's expression. "The consortium designs for perfection under ideal conditions. We design for survival under any conditions. Their technology fails if one component breaks. Ours adapts and keeps working." Dr. Lisa Wong, the project's weapons specialist, approached with a tablet full of test data. "Captain, you need to see the latest results from the weapons testing range. The plasma cannon modifications are exceeding all projections." They moved to a reinforced chamber where a weapon unlike anything in human or alien arsenals was mounted on a testing platform. The original consortium plasma cannon had been designed to fire in straight lines with predictable patterns. The human version incorporated guidance systems adapted from Earth's missile technology, allowing the energy beams to curve around obstacles and strike targets from unexpected angles. "The consortium's weapons are more powerful than ours," Dr. Wong explained, as she initiated a demonstration sequence. "But they're also predictable. Every shot follows the same pattern, every targeting sequence uses the same algorithms. Our modifications make each shot unique, adapting to battlefield conditions in real time." The weapon fired, and instead of a single straight beam, multiple smaller energy streams emerged, weaving around simulated obstacles before converging on the target with devastating effect. The display showed impact patterns that would be impossible for conventional defenses to predict or counter. "Incredible," Sarah breathed. "How did you manage this?" "By thinking like humans instead of like the consortium," Dr. Wong replied proudly. "They optimize for maximum power in ideal conditions. We optimize for maximum effectiveness in chaotic situations. Their weapons are concert instruments that require perfect acoustics. Ours are jazz musicians that can improvise with whatever the situation demands." The innovations weren't limited to weapons and propulsion. Every system on the Phoenix incorporated human ingenuity, applied to alien technology. The shield generators used modular designs that could be reconfigured during battle. The hull incorporated self-repairing materials that learned from damage patterns. Even the life support systems were redesigned to function efficiently under extreme conditions. Commander David Kim, the project's chief systems integration officer, led Sarah and Elena to the ship's main assembly bay. The Phoenix hung suspended in the chamber, its hull a patchwork of alien materials and human innovations. It wasn't beautiful by consortium standards, but it radiated a sense of purpose and power that was unmistakably human. "She's not pretty," David admitted, "but she's the most advanced warship ever built. Every component has been tested beyond failure points. Every system has multiple backups. We've taken the consortium's most dangerous technologies and made them safer and more effective than they ever imagined possible." The ship's design reflected humanity's practical approach to engineering. Where consortium vessels were sleek and uniform, the Phoenix was angular and asymmetrical, each section optimized for its specific function rather than aesthetic appeal. Weapon emplacements were positioned for maximum coverage rather than visual balance. Engine pods were arranged for optimal thrust distribution rather than symmetrical beauty. "How's the crew training progressing?" Sarah asked as they toured the ship's interior. "Better than expected," David replied, leading them to the bridge. The consortium designs their ships to be operated by artificial intelligence with minimal crew input. We've built the Phoenix to be controlled by human intuition and adaptability. Every station can be manually overridden. Every system can be operated independently if needed. The bridge itself was a testament to human engineering philosophy. Instead of the clean, minimalist designs favored by the consortium, it bristled with displays, controls, and backup systems. Multiple crew members could perform the same functions, ensuring that no single point of failure could disable the ship. Lieutenant Commander Maria Santos, the Phoenix's designated captain, was running simulations with her crew when they arrived. The tactical display showed a complex battle scenario with multiple enemy ships and environmental hazards. "Incoming plasma torpedoes from bearing 27 Mark IV, called the weapons officer. "Standard evasion patterns won't work with the asteroid field." "Then we don't use standard patterns," Maria replied calmly. "Helm, spin us 90 degrees and use the asteroids as cover. Weapons, prepare the adaptive plasma array. Let's show them what unpredictable looks like." The simulation played out with the Phoenix dancing through the asteroid field, its unconventional maneuvers confusing enemy targeting systems. When it finally engaged, the results were decisive. The enemy ships, programmed with consortium tactical doctrine, couldn't adapt to the Phoenix's chaotic but effective fighting style. "Outstanding," Sarah said as the simulation ended. "How do you think we'll fare against real consortium vessels?" Maria smiled confidently. "Captain, their ships are more powerful and more advanced than ours in every measurable way, but they're also predictable. They fight by the book because the book has always worked for them. We fight by instinct and adaptation because that's how humans survive." The confidence was well-founded. In simulation after simulation, the Phoenix consistently defeated superior forces through unconventional tactics and adaptive strategies. The ship's hybrid systems allowed it to change configuration mid-battle, transforming from a fast scout to a heavy assault vessel as the situation demanded. Dr. Elena Vasquez had spent the past month working on the most ambitious modification. Yet, deep in the ship's engineering section, she was integrating what the consortium had designated as their most dangerous discarded technology, an artificial intelligence system that had been deemed too unpredictable for safe operation. "The consortium's AI systems are designed to follow strict parameters," Elena explained to Sarah during a late-night tour of the engineering deck. "They prioritize predictability over effectiveness. This system," she gestured to a complex array of crystalline processors, "was discarded because it learned too quickly and adapted too freely." "Sounds perfect for humans," Sarah observed. "Exactly. We've modified it to work as a tactical advisor rather than a controller. It analyzes battle conditions and suggests strategies, but the final decisions remain with the human crew. It's like having the galaxy's most experienced tactician as a consultant, but one that thinks like a human rather than like the consortium." The AI system, which the crew had nicknamed Oracle, had already proven its worth in simulations. It could process vast amounts of tactical data and identify opportunities that human crews might miss. But it presented its analysis in ways that enhanced rather than replaced human decision-making. As the Phoenix neared completion, security became an increasing concern. The consortium continued their regular technology dumps, never suspecting that their discarded materials were being transformed into humanity's secret weapon. But maintaining that secrecy required constant vigilance. "We've had 3 close calls this month," reported Chief Security Officer Agent Rebecca Torres during a staff meeting. "Consortium inspection teams are asking more questions about our salvage operations. They're not suspicious yet, but they're starting to pay attention." "What's our cover story holding up?" Sarah asked. "Perfectly. As far as they know, we're struggling to understand even the most basic principles of their technology. Our public research teams are deliberately making slow progress and asking for help with problems we solved months ago. The consortium loves feeling superior, so they're happy to explain things we already understand. The deception was working, but it required careful coordination. Public research teams worked on simplified versions of alien technology, making just enough progress to seem legitimate, while hiding the true scope of human achievement. The most advanced work remained hidden in the underground facility, unknown to all but the most trusted personnel. Dr. Park approached with the day's intelligence report. "The consortium is planning to establish a permanent monitoring station in Earth orbit. They want to observe human progress more closely." Elena frowned. "That could complicate things. How long do we have?" 6 months before construction begins." "But Captain," Dr. Park's expression was grim, "there's more. They're planning to restrict future technology transfers. They think humans are advancing too quickly for our own good." The irony was bitter. The consortium's generosity had inadvertently created their greatest threat, and now their paranoia was threatening to cut off the very supply of technology that had made human advancement possible. "Then we need to accelerate our timeline," Sarah decided. "How soon can the Phoenix be ready for operational status?" 3 weeks for basic systems," Elena replied. "But I'd recommend another month for full testing and crew familiarization." "We may not have that luxury. If they establish that monitoring station, our window of opportunity closes. We need to be ready to act before they realize what we've accomplished." The final phase of construction proceeded with desperate urgency. Every team worked around the clock, installing systems, running tests, and training crew members. The Phoenix was more than just a ship now. It was humanity's declaration of independence from consortium condescension. As the project neared completion, Sarah stood once again at the observation deck of Luna Station, watching another consortium vessel approach with its cargo of obsolete technology. But this time, her perspective had changed completely. Where she had once seen insults disguised as gifts, she now saw the materials for humanity's rise to galactic prominence. The Phoenix was nearly ready, and with it, humanity would show the galaxy that sometimes the greatest treasures were hidden in the trash that others threw away. The consortium's arrogance had given humans everything they needed to transform from grateful scavengers into the galaxy's newest power. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would discover what humans could build when they were underestimated. The galaxy's new nightmare. The emergency alert pierced through the Phoenix research facility like a blade. Captain Sarah Chen raced from the command center to the main communications array, where Lieutenant Marcus Webb was frantically adjusting frequencies. "Report!" Sarah barked, her heart pounding with the fear that their secret had been discovered. "Captain, it's not us," Marcus replied, relief evident in his voice. "We're picking up a distress signal from the Kepler trading route. Merchant vessel under attack by the Shadow Fleet pirates. 3 ships down, civilian casualties mounting." Sarah felt her blood chill. The Shadow Fleet was notorious throughout the galaxy for their brutality and advanced weaponry. They had been growing bolder recently, attacking even consortium-protected trade routes with impunity. "Consortium response time?" she asked, already knowing the answer would be bad news. "Nearest patrol is 4 hours out. The merchant convoy won't last 30 minutes against Shadow Fleet firepower." Dr. Elena Vasquez arrived at the communication center, her face grim. "Sarah, we just finished the final systems integration test. An hour ago. The Phoenix is operational, but we haven't run full combat trials yet." The weight of decision pressed down on Sarah's shoulders. The Phoenix represented 18 months of secret development, humanity's greatest achievement, and their ticket to galactic respect. Revealing it prematurely could jeopardize everything they had worked for, but hundreds of innocent lives hung in the balance. "How long to reach the attack site?" Sarah asked. "23 minutes at maximum velocity," replied Commander David. Kim from the tactical station. Sarah made her decision. "Prep the Phoenix for immediate launch. Combat crew to stations. This is what we built her for." The underground facility erupted into controlled chaos as the Phoenix's crew rushed to their positions. Captain Maria Santos took her place on the bridge while Elena and her engineering team made final preparations in the engine room. "All systems green," Maria reported over the intercom. "Phoenix ready for launch." The massive doors of the underground facility groaned open, revealing a star-filled sky. The Phoenix rose from its hidden berth like a mechanical phoenix emerging from ashes, its hybrid engines glowing with barely contained power. "Consortium Command, this is Earth Vessel Phoenix responding to distress signal," Maria broadcast as they cleared the atmosphere. "We are en route to assist the merchant convoy." The response came back filled with confusion and condescension. "Unknown Earth Vessel, you are not authorized for combat operations. Return to your planet immediately and allow proper authorities to handle this situation." "Negative, Consortium Command. Human lives are at stake, and we're the closest response." "Vessel, Phoenix out." The ship's unique drive system propelled them through space at velocities that defied expectations. Where consortium vessels would have needed careful course plotting and multiple acceleration phases, the Phoenix simply pointed toward its destination and flew in a straight line, its adaptive systems automatically compensating for gravitational fields and spatial anomalies. "Target zone in 60 seconds, announced the navigation officer. "I'm reading massive energy signatures. The Shadow Fleet is using heavy assault ships." Through the viewport, the battle came into view. 5 massive pirate vessels surrounded the remnants of a merchant convoy. 2 trade ships burned helplessly in space while 3 others tried desperately to escape. The pirates methodically destroyed their targets, clearly enjoying their superiority. "Analysis complete," Oracle, the ship's AI advisor, announced in its calm synthetic voice. "Enemy vessels are using standard Shadow Fleet configurations. They possess superior firepower, but predictable tactical patterns. Recommend approach vector Alpha 7 for optimal surprise effect." Maria studied the tactical display. "They outnumber us 5-1 and each of their ships is larger than ours." "But they're not expecting us," Sarah replied grimly from her position at the auxiliary command station, "and they've never faced anything like the Phoenix before." The pirate fleet noticed their approach with typical arrogance. "Unknown vessel, withdraw immediately or be destroyed. The Shadow Fleet claims this sector." "Shadow Fleet vessels, this is Captain Maria Santos of the Earth Defense Ship Phoenix. Release the civilian vessels and withdraw, or face the consequences." Laughter filled the communication channel. "Earth Defense? What's next? Children playing with toy rockets? One small ship against the Shadow Fleet? This will be entertaining." Maria smiled grimly. "Oracle, analyze their formation, weapons, prepare the adaptive plasma array. Engineering, I want all power to the hybrid systems. Let's show them what human innovation looks like." The Phoenix accelerated toward the pirate formation with impossible agility. Its unconventional design allowed it to change direction and speed in ways that confused enemy targeting computers. The pirates' first volley of plasma fire passed harmlessly, through space where the Phoenix should have been but wasn't. "Impossible," came the shocked voice of the pirate commander. "No ship can maneuver like that." "Watch and learn," Maria muttered as she ordered the attack. The Phoenix's weapon systems activated with devastating effect. Instead of the straight-line plasma beams the pirates expected, the human-modified weapons fired in complex patterns. Energy streams curved around obstacles, split into multiple targeting beams, and struck from angles that should have been impossible. The first pirate ship, caught completely off guard, lost its shields and weapon systems in seconds. But the Phoenix wasn't done. Its modular weapon systems reconfigured mid-battle, adapting to the changing tactical situation with fluid grace. "They're using some kind of new technology," the pirate commander screamed over the communication channel. "Focus all fire on the unknown vessel." The combined firepower of 4 remaining pirate ships converged on the Phoenix's position. Any normal vessel would have been instantly vaporized. But the Phoenix's hybrid shield systems had been designed by humans who understood that survival mattered more than elegance. Instead of trying to absorb the massive energy barrage, the Phoenix's shields redirected it. Some energy was reflected back at the attackers, some was channeled into the ship's power systems, and some was simply dispersed into space as harmless radiation. Shield efficiency at 115%, reported the engineering officer in amazement. Their attacks are actually charging our batteries. The pirates' confusion turned to panic as their most powerful weapons not only failed to damage the Phoenix but actually seemed to make it stronger. Maria pressed the advantage, ordering a complex attack pattern that Oracle had calculated would maximize psychological impact. The Phoenix danced through the battle zone like a living thing, its weapons striking from impossible angles while its defenses turned enemy attacks into advantages. One by one, the pirate ships found their weapons disabled, their engines crippled, their crews surrendering rather than face total destruction. "This is impossible," the pirate commander transmitted as his flagship's systems failed around him. "What kind of ship are you?" "The kind that humans build when they're underestimated," Maria replied coldly. "Your vessels are disabled but intact. I suggest you use your escape pods before we decide you're worth the ammunition." The Shadow Fleet, one of the most feared pirate organizations in the galaxy, abandoned their ships and fled in lifeboats. The Phoenix had defeated 5 superior vessels without taking a single casualty or sustaining meaningful damage. As the battle ended, rescue operations began immediately. The Phoenix's advanced medical bay and life support systems allowed them to aid the wounded merchants while their engineering teams helped repair damaged vessels. "Unknown Earth vessel," came a transmission from the approaching consortium patrol fleet. "Identify yourself and explain your presence in this sector." Captain Sarah Chen took over communications, knowing this moment would define humanity's future. Relationship with the galaxy. Consortium Command, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Ship Phoenix. We responded to a distress call and neutralized the threat to civilian shipping. Impossible. Earth vessels do not possess the capability for such operations. "Perhaps your intelligence needs updating," Sarah replied diplomatically. "We request permission to complete rescue operations and escort the surviving merchants to safety." The Consortium Patrol Commander, Admiral Kevtar, arrived to find a scene that defied everything he thought he knew about human capabilities. The Shadow Fleet's abandoned warships floated helplessly in space, while a vessel of unknown design efficiently coordinated rescue operations. "Human vessel Phoenix," Admiral Kevtar transmitted, his voice carefully controlled. "Report to Consortium Command for immediate inspection and explanation." "With respect, Admiral," Sarah replied. "We have wounded civilians to transport and merchant vessels to escort. Our humanitarian obligations take priority over bureaucratic requirements." The casual dismissal of consortium authority sent shockwaves through the galactic communication networks. Never before had a supposedly primitive species spoken to the consortium as equals, much less demonstrated the military capability to back up such confidence. Over the following days, word of the Phoenix's victory spread throughout the galaxy. The defeat of the Shadow Fleet by a single human vessel became the most talked-about event in recent galactic history. Species that had been dismissing humanity as primitive backwater began reconsidering their assumptions. The Consortium Council convened an emergency session to address the human problem. Captain Sarah Chen and Dr. Elena Vasquez were summoned to present their case before the most powerful governing body in the galaxy. "This is unprecedented," declared Consortium Chancellor Morduk as the session began. "A species we classified as technologically primitive has somehow developed capabilities that rival our own. Explain yourselves." Sarah stood confidently before the assembled representatives of dozens of alien species. "Honorable Chancellor, we have simply made efficient use of the resources you provided us." "The resources we provided?" Chancellor Morduk's confusion was evident. "We gave you obsolete technology, broken components, materials deemed unsafe for continued use." Elena activated a holographic display showing the Phoenix's hybrid systems. "And we thank you for that gift. Every piece of garbage you gave us taught us something new. We learned not just how your technology works, but how it could work better. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the assembly. The idea that humans had improved upon consortium technology was almost incomprehensible to species that had grown, comfortable with their technological superiority. The Shadow Fleet has terrorized shipping lanes for decades, Sarah continued. Your patrols, equipped with the most advanced consortium technology, have been unable to stop them. Yet a single human ship destroyed their entire attack fleet in minutes. Perhaps it's time to reconsider your assumptions about technological advancement. Admiral Kevtar, who had witnessed the battle firsthand, stood to address the assembly. I have reviewed the tactical data from the engagement. The human vessel employed strategies and technologies that defy conventional understanding. Their weapons behaved in ways our science says should be impossible. Their shields not only protected them but actually grew stronger under attack. Because we think differently, Elena explained, warming to her subject. You design for perfection under ideal conditions. We design for survival under any conditions. You create elegant solutions that work exactly as intended. We create adaptable solutions that work even when nothing goes as planned. The debate continued for hours, with representatives from various species arguing about the implications of humanity's technological leap. Some called for restrictions and oversight, fearing that human unpredictability might destabilize galactic order. Others argued for embracing human innovation to strengthen the consortium against external threats. Finally, Chancellor Morduk called for silence. The facts are undeniable. Humanity has demonstrated capabilities that merit recognition. The question before us is how to proceed. We propose a simple solution, Sarah said, seizing the moment. End the restrictions on human technological development. Grant us full membership in the consortium with all rights and responsibilities. In return, we offer our innovations to strengthen the alliance against common threats. And if we refuse, challenged Counselor Zephron of the militant hegemony faction. Sarah's smile was coldly polite. Then we continue developing on our own. The galaxy is large enough for multiple powers, but cooperation serves everyone's interests better than conflict. The implied threat was clear. Humanity had proven they could build advanced warships from discarded materials. What could they accomplish with full access to galactic resources and technology? After hours of debate, the vote was called. By a narrow margin, the Consortium Council agreed to grant humanity full membership and technological access. The restrictions that had kept humans in a subordinate position were officially lifted. But the real victory came in the months that followed. Other species that had been similarly marginalized by the consortium approached humanity seeking alliance and technological exchange. The Phoenix's victory had proven that innovation and adaptability could triumph over established power. Dr. Elena Vasquez was appointed to head the new Hybrid Technology Division, tasked with combining the best innovations from multiple species. Her first project was developing a new generation of exploration vessels that incorporated lessons learned from the Phoenix. Captain Sarah Chen found herself promoted to admiral and placed in command of Earth's rapidly expanding space fleet. The Phoenix, meanwhile, became the prototype for a new class of warships that combined human adaptability with alien technology. The galaxy had learned a painful lesson about the dangers of arrogance and assumptions. The consortium's garbage had become humanity's treasure, and their condescension had been transformed into their greatest threat. Years later, as Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the flagship Prometheus, watching human and alien crews work side by side, she reflected on how far they had come. The consortium's discarded technology had given humanity the tools they needed, but it was human ingenuity and determination that had transformed those tools into galactic power. The Shadow Fleet's defeat had marked the beginning of a new era in galactic politics. Humanity was no longer the primitive species grateful for scraps from their better's table. They had become the innovators, the adapters, the species that others turned to when conventional solutions failed. The Phoenix still served as a museum ship, a reminder of what could be accomplished when intelligence was combined with determination. Visitors from across the galaxy came to study the vessel that had changed galactic history, trying to understand how humans had transformed trash into a weapon that struck fear into the hearts of empires. But perhaps the most fitting tribute to the Phoenix was the motto that had been adopted by Earth's space fleet, Ex Scrapibus Stellae, from scraps to the stars. It served as a reminder that humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to see potential where others saw only problems, to build bridges where others saw only barriers, and to reach for the impossible while others settled for the adequate. The galaxy's newest power had risen not through conquest or inheritance, but through the simple act of refusing to accept limitations. The consortium had given humanity their garbage, never dreaming that humans would transform it into their greatest fear and ultimately their most valuable allies.